want to make a quick video on how to solder copper pipes, also known as sweating copper pipes. So in Mr. Curtis's room in the fume hood, because it does make some kind of stinky smells, so we want that to kind of exhaust out of here, right? It's another little form of PPE. A couple of things. I'm also using the fume hood this way, so when I sweat the copper pipes, the glass here kind of serves as my safety glasses, so it's a lot safer that way. So a couple materials we're going to be using in the little lab is some propane. We're going to use some copper pipe, of course. We're going to use some lead-free solder. We're going to use a joint. We're going to use some pipe cutters. This is all-in-one brush for cleaning off burrs and just taking off the rough finish of the copper. We've got some pliers. We have some flux paste, and we have an igniter. So, alright. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a couple of lengths of copper pipe. So, I don't really need the fume hood glass down for that. So we'll take this. This is a pipe cutter that's designed for use in smaller areas, because normally when you cut copper pipes, if you're in a house, right, you might be inside of a wall or something like that, so it'll be really tight quarters. That's the reason they make these really small. They make a larger one, but this is typically the more common one you see. Now, you'll see I have this kind of on here, and just kind of twist left to right, left to loosen, right to tighten. You want to get it kind of tight like that, and you want to start spinning it. It's got a little cutter on the inside of it. It's going to cut through the copper. Tighten that back up again. Ta-da! And it cuts it pretty clean. We'll cut another piece about the same size. Again, it doesn't matter for this demonstration. Tighten a couple of twists. Cutter keeps coming loose a little bit. It's working. And there you go. Got my two pieces of the pipe. Set my cutters down because I don't really need those anymore for now. So now I have my two pieces of pipe. So this is the smaller 1/2 inch diameter pipe. So it has right here on the little brush, it says 1/2 inch. I'm not sure if you can see that. Hopefully you can. So I'm going to clean out the insides. Give it a quick turn around like that. Clean out the inside of the other one. Then you will clean the outside. So the outside's got a little bit of tarnish on it, so you want to get that off. So you put it on here. You just twist this little guy around. And that scrubs off that little bit of copper tarnish. So hopefully you can see that distinctive color on the end where it's not tarnished. That's what we want for our joint. Go a couple of times. This little brush has got little steel bristles in there, and it really just does the job. This is you can use emery cloth or like steel wool, but the brush, in my opinion, is well worth your $5 or $6 if you're going to be doing any of it. So hopefully you can see the two ends here that are kind of done. Next I have my joint. My joint's brand new, but I'm still going to just scrub it just because it's just good practice. So scrub both of those sides. Try to see if I can scrub some of that. Usually it's hard to do the joints like this, but I'm just going to scrub a little bit of it. Alright, so I'm in a good spot, got everything clean and ready. Next step is I'm going to apply some flux paste. Flux paste is kind of, see right here, this is regular paste flux. It's kind of brownish, gooky stuff. And the flux paste helps the solder adhere. So you're just going to go like a real light coat like this all over. Where I've brushed it. You don't need to go too thick, just a little bitty light coat like this. Alright, that's a good spot. put a little bit on the inside of this joint, which is always good practice. Just to make sure we got good coverage. Alright. That's ready. Got my flux, I'm done with that. Now I'm going to kind of fit these pieces on here. Just going to make sure you push it all the way up to where the little knuckle is. You can see the little bump out on this little section right here. So I want to make sure I push it up to that point. Same thing with this little guy. Now I have it basically dry fit, right? It's got the flux paste in it already. It's ready to go. Next thing I want to get out about 8-10 inches of my solder. Remember from the article, in the last couple of inches you're going to kind of bend a little bit like this. And next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to light my torch. So that's propane torch. Normally in plumbing they use a different kind of gas called acetylene, but I don't really have any acetylene. It's a lot more expensive than propane, and let's keep it real, Grady's Pro. So I'm going to use this little sparker to ignite this. There we go. Hopefully you can see the flame, don't want to get too close to my GoPro. But it is there. Now I'm going to put my glass back down for safety here. You wouldn't normally be doing it in a fume hood like this at school. Hopefully you can see. We'll get this joint really hot. It's best to kind of work both sides of the joint in this case, because you don't want to get one side too hot, solder it, and then when you solder the other side, then it'll start to remelt your other solder, so you don't want that. So just kind of evenly hitting it on all sides here. I'm waiting for that, see if I can see a little bit of the flux start to sizzle. It's always a good indicator, the flux sizzling is a good indicator as to when to try the solder. So I can feel the pipe getting a little warm. I'm going to put this glove on, which I should have done before. It's not hot, but it may be hot by the time I get done with it. Notice I'm not touching the flame. You just want to keep it kind of above the flame a little bit. Keep moving it around because it is copper. It will start to conduct that heat pretty rapidly. Just like in electricity, it's a conductor, so it'll pass that heat or the electrons straight down it. So I'm starting to see some paste, some flux paste sizzle a little bit, so I think we're getting close. We'll bring my solder close to it, and if my solder starts to melt, it's ready. It's not ready. My solder's not melting. Okay, there it is, a little bit on that side. We're at a close point. I'm not sure if you can see that here on this. There's a little bit of solder that I've melted there. Okay, we're getting close. That's how I'm testing it. I'm just bringing the solder to it, and when it starts to melt, I know we're getting close. It's not melting quick enough. Okay, we're at a good spot. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it away from the flame. You don't want it in the flame when the solder's going. I'll take it away from the flame. I'm going to see how it's kind of running around. Capillary action will bring this up inside of it. Remember what capillary action is? again, if you don't remember what capillary action is, it's how you use the straw. When you're heating this, it's creating a vacuum up inside of this little joint, and that when you melt this solder, it just sucks it up in there, just like that. It doesn't actually make that sound. So that's just me. So. There she is. It ain't pretty. I'm not the best solderer. I certainly don't claim to be, but I would bet it's watertight. So the last thing you'd want to do, of course, is water test it. I would argue that it probably is watertight, but I'm not going to try it right now. That's the basic gist of it. So it is locked in there. It's still warm to the touch. It'll be warm for about another 15 or 20 minutes. All right, hopefully you enjoyed that.